Hi. Last time I introduced this book, The Goodness of God by John Wenham, and he outlined the understandable difficulties that people find in the Bible and in the world's design, things that can be stumbling blocks to faith in God at all or in the scriptures. I wanted to read to you his stated intentions in writing the book. He says, "This book is written for Christians and is not intended in the first place for non-Christians who find difficulty in believing because of the problem of evil, though it is hoped that such may find something of value in it. It is intended for Christians, but it is not intended for Christians who are looking for glib answers. Easy answers could not possibly be right. Answers which fit the facts could only be profoundly disturbing. The intention is to show that, in his attempts to understand the ways of God, the Christian must eschew easy answers, in particular those answers which dismiss the uncomfortable features of the Bible. We must look at reality, look at it hard, till at last we realize that there is no way out, till we realize that we are children, that we are fools, and that we are at heart conceited, stiff-necked rebels who will get everything wrong unless we are prepared to give up telling God what he should be like and what he should do, till we realize that we can know only what God is pleased to tell us. We must listen and try to understand. God in his revelation need no defense. Apologetics, insofar as it is valid, consists of two things: clearing away of misunderstandings of the revelation and showing the weaknesses of alternatives to it. These things we shall try to do as best we can. But we shall have failed to convey our message if any reader thinks that he has been given all the answers, and that he now comprehends God. An important lesson to get across is that sinful, finite man sees in a glass darkly. In the Christ portrayed in the Bible, we indeed see a great deal, but there are infinite tracts that he does not see nor understand. This book will have fulfilled its purpose, even if at the end of the road its readers feel that they must reject many of its fallible and ignorant explanations, providing it has caused them to take Christ as their teacher more wholeheartedly, and to realize that any other authority, be it their own ideas or those of any other human being, is worthless in comparison. So he gives you his intentions. I would say for many ex-witnesses that have come to our channel, they have expressed that they want to keep their faith. They want to keep faith in God. But they have a struggle with some of these faith issues. There are stumbling blocks preventing them from feeling confident or comfortable. Many people struggle with those kinds of issues, not just the witnesses. For witnesses, though, I think the reason we have a particular difficulty when we leave the Watchtower and we're trying to make sense of things after leaving is because we're reading the Bible now, perhaps for the very first time, without Watchtower glasses. We're looking at what the text actually says, and then we might be discovering texts that we never saw before, that we never read before, that are uncomfortable. We also are trying to unravel what the Watchtower teaches and what the Bible actually teaches. So we're having to unlearn a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff is very much in our brain and stuck there. So we're having difficulty with that. Plus, oftentimes some of our audience says they were looking for answers, but they were finding a lack of a negativity among some ex-witness channels, and certainly some had just fallen into no faith at all. So they were desirous of keeping their faith. So they wanted a positive message. Plus, if you're just looking on media, you're going to find a lot of negativity and moving towards a lack of faith there as well. So in my formative years, I found books like John Wenham's here, The Goodness of God, very helpful in those formative years. So I also like the attitude of John Wenham in the book. You see humility there. He's not telling you he has all the answers. He's not telling you that, at the end of this book, you're going to be just fine. There's not going to be any questions left. He doesn't present it that way. And that is more of the presentation of the Watchtower. We know, you should believe because we say so. That attitude isn't in John Wenham's tone here. He's being honest, and he's trying to present some answers as best he can, but he realizes that he is not God, and you still may be left with some things that you are struggling with. All of us are. I think it's some might think of it as a cop-out, giving that as an answer, but I think if you're a parent and you're dealing with children and you're giving them directions and you find resistance on the part of children sometimes to the directions you give them because they lack maturity or they just haven't got the experience you have, they can't understand why you're telling them certain things they should and shouldn't do. So I think it's more like that. He's saying that we're all children, and we have to acknowledge that God is God, and we're not the ones to dictate how he should or shouldn't behave or do things. We lack understanding, so we need humility if we're going to get past some of these issues, not rely on ourselves or other humans for answers. So next, we're going to, he at the beginning of his introduction, he gives you kind of a summary of what the chapters of the book are about and what they're going to deal with, what he's going to tackle in concerns. I'm going to link to two videos. One is JW's Are You Commanded to Preach or Answer? And the second one was based on the work of Ravi Zacharias, and it was entitled, Can Atheism Answer the Basic Questions? So next time, a summary of the issues he's going to tackle.